Here in chapter 2, Krishna recognizes the despair that Arjuna is in. The goal now is to bring him to wisdom. So he first starts by challenging Arjuna to detach himself. See the difference between what is eternal. So he brings up a new concept, something eternal, and what is the body, the physical presence. He says, these sufferings, death, pain, pleasure, all these things are for the body, but not for the Atman. So a new concept, Atman. What is Atman? It's a beautiful Sanskrit word. I cannot translate that into English because there is no word in English that would correctly represent what Atman is. Because it is a concept. And that concept perhaps does not exist in English. So the word soul is used. Then we connect Atman to a Western understanding of soul, which is an entity that is within us. So your soul, my soul, his soul, her soul, even soul of an animal. And then we get into this metaphysical things, ghosts, and the soul goes somewhere. And some would try to prove that there exists a soul by, many ways. I won't go into that. But the point I'm trying to make is that the concept of Atman is presented in the Bhagavad Gita not to confuse us with these misunderstanding through the word soul, but to say there exists something deeper than just this body. So look at something that is beyond us, something, a conscience that is common to everything, that is beyond our body. And for that, there is no pain, there is no pleasure, there is no suffering, no death or birth. This idea is introduced purely to steady our minds using this external concept of an external entity and make the right decisions when in doubt. So if we attach ourselves to our body, immediately the understanding is that we are unlikely to make the wise decisions. So we have to detach ourselves from the self. So there has to be something beyond the self, so to which we can attach ourselves. Or not necessarily attach, but to which we can look to. And that is Atman. And he continues. It's the famous verse next. Kamaha kamat, krodho vijayate, krodad bhavati sammohaha, and so on. Meaning, desires lead to attachment. And that curtailing that attachment leads to frustration. Frustration leads to anger. Anger leads to lack of perception. So losing the perspective. Losing perspective of the big picture leads us to our own destruction as well as destruction of others. So Krishna explains this vicious cycle, where it begins and what the end of it is. Desire is the root cause. Often we tend to curtail our desires because we have to. It's not necessarily us trying to curtail it. It's not controlling desires, which is perhaps is okay. But when it is curtailed by external forces, I want to eat ice cream, but the doctor says don't do it. Your cholesterol will go up. Frustration, anger with somebody, with the doctor maybe, and so on. That is what Krishna is saying, that this is this sequence of chain reactions. Stop at the root cause. Train the mind like an athlete would train his body, Bhagavad Gita says. Before an important matchup, athlete or athletes involved in this competition train, vigorously train. If you don't train, you lose. Just the same way, if you want to curtail that desire, frustration, anger, and all that, the mind has to be trained. And that's coming in the future chapters. Krishna tells us how to control your mind. Prayers, meditation, all that. It's coming. Krishna continues and introduces one of the most repeated ideas of the Bhagavad Gita. Do your duty without attachment and forget about the outcomes. Karmani avadikaraste maphaleshu kadachana ma karma phale thur bhur ma tu sangotsva karmani. Next in this chapter, Krishna brings in the balance between the dualities. So he introduces the dualities that we suffer from: pleasure and pain, success and failure, loss and gain. He wants us to think beyond that. Sthita prajna, meaning steadiness of our mind in facing these dualities. So the duality is pain versus pleasure. How much is not considered there? Irrespective of how much it is. It's a small pain and small pleasure is okay. No. Do not make a distinction between the two. It's the most difficult thing to do. And how it is done, of course, is coming later. The steps to achieve it. One of the hints for achieving that is controlling the senses. So the wise people, or those who have achieved this tranquility, have the capacity to withdraw the senses, just like a turtle would withdraw its limbs when there is danger. When there is desire or attachments that can cloud their perception, and lead to imprudent decisions. And the idea is, Krishna is saying, you will be able to do that with proper training of the mind. Control your senses, because true peace comes from higher purposes. That's the gist of chapter 2. In brief, it's telling Arjuna to detach himself and gives certain hints as to how one could do that, setting up the stage for the upcoming chapters.